Hey, Astra Kids, and welcome back. And this is your horoscope for Mars entering into the sign of Aries on June 28th, 2022. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So on June 28th, we will see Mars enter into the sign of Aries, and it will stay there until August 10th of 2022. And this is a very important transit because Mars is coming into its Mula-Tricone sign, its most comfortable home of Aries. We're also going to see Rahu that is in Aries. So we've seen this since April of this month that this Rahu transit has begun here in the sign of Aries, giving a push towards individuality, towards independence, doing things on our own, going for what we want, focusing on ourselves. But as Mars and Rahu come together, they're going to create a special yoga known as the Angarak yoga, which is an 18-year yoga that occurs when Mars and Rahu meet up together in the sign of Aries. So this is very intense. When Mars and Rahu come together, they're going to create a very intense effect. Remember that Mars is the warrior, it's the energy, it's what drives us through life. It is this very fiery, intense energy, and we have Rahu, which is amplifying anything that it touches, coming together with Mars. Rahu is the master of illusions. It is all about things that are not really there, that we are drawn to, attracted to, that we see based on appearance, based on the glamour, the material things that capture our attention. Rahu also is indicating mental health issues because of this illusionary effect that it has. Rahu has the ability to conceal things, to cast a shadow across things. So as Rahu comes together with Mars, it is giving us an illusionary effect of this Martian influence. And this is very dangerous because this can cause war, violence, destruction, natural disasters. It can cause some very difficult conflicts within politics. This, however, also is a very positive energy for the forward movement of our society, as it is in its home sign of Mars and with this very unconventional planet of Rahu. And so we can see some technological advancements, we can see some major changes occurring within the world that is pushing us forward at this time. Now, when this Mars transit enters into this sign of Aries, it will receive an aspect over from Saturn that is there retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Saturn retrograde, as it is casting its challenge aspect onto this Rahu, is very interesting. Because remember that it is in the sign of Aquarius, which is also the home of Rahu. So this can create a lot of obstacles, restrictions, delays with this Saturn that is casting its aspect onto Rahu. But this will not last long because remember that here on July 12th is where we will see Saturn shift ahead in this retrograde back into the sign of Capricorn. So it will leave this aspect that we are having here with Saturn. We're also going to see some aspects later on when the Sun enters into the sign of Cancer and when Venus enters into the sign of Cancer. So as Mars is casting an aspect onto the Sun and onto Venus in Cancer, and we have this Saturn in Capricorn, this will create a grand cross because we have this energy that is occurring within our four cardinal signs of Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. This is very intense. A lot of energy is being contained, especially with this Mars Rahu. This is a huge time where we can see some major disasters, major explosions of energy occur. Mars also is going to transit through three different nakshatras. So at the beginning of this transit, Mars will come into Aries in a Gandanta. Remember that the Gandanta occurs at the last 3 degree 20 minutes of a water sign into the first 3 degree 20 minutes of a fire sign. And so as it enters into Aries in those first 3 degree 20 minutes is very intense. A Gandanta is a karmic knot where we have these intense transformational energies that are occurring as we transition from the water to the fire sign. Here in Ashwini especially, this is an energy that wants to go very quickly. It has the power to reach quick results. And so everything about Ashwini is about speed. It is about doing things very quickly, very hastily, starting new trends. But because we're here in this Gandanta and we have this Rahu conjunct, be very careful as Mars enters into this beginning part of Aries, as there can be an impulse to want to do things quickly. And with Rahu in this conjunction, there can especially be an impulse to want to do things in a very destructive way, in a dangerous way, in an unlawful way, wanting to cheat, wanting to take shortcuts. So be very careful about how you are approaching your goals and how you want to make things happen. Remember that Rahu is creating this illusionary effect here with Mars. As we come into the middle of this Mars transit, it's not as intense as it comes into the Bharani Nakshatra, because Bharani has everything to do with containing this intense Martian energy. Bharani is all about containment, restriction, discipline. And so that energy is being contained within. This becomes a great time to use that energy to create, to make things happen. This is a flow state energy for many as we come into this middle part of this Mars transit. At the end of this Mars transit, the energy will intensify again as we come into the Kritika Nakshatra. Kritika is the star of fire. It has this fiery intensity and passion to it, which is going to add to this Mars-Rahu combo, very intense. And so this is, again, where we can see this explosive, intense energy occurring here towards the end of this transit, especially because we have Rahu in the Kritika Nakshatra. So as we get closer to the end of this transit, we will see Mars come into an exact conjunction with Rahu, where these energies will intensify. So let's go ahead and talk about how this transit will affect each of you according to your zodiac sign. And just a quick disclaimer, this is not based on Western tropical astrology. This is according to Vedic astrology, which is using the sidereal zodiac. So if you are not familiar with what your sidereal zodiac sign is, there is a calculator down below in the description so that you have the correct information. Another disclaimer is that this is not according to your sun sign. These horoscopes will be according to your moon sign and your ascendant sign. These are the most important points in the chart to read from. The ascendant is a map of your karmas and your life path, and so this is how all of these experiences are playing out in your life. The moon is how you're experiencing all of this through your mind. The moon represents the mind. It is everything that you are manifesting into your reality and how you are perceiving everything through your mind. So these will be the most important areas to look at this horoscope from, not from your sun sign. For those of you with an Aries moon, Aries ascendant, this will be Mars Rahu in your first house. Very intense. This Rahu is asking you to take a new path, to go for what you want, to focus on yourself at this time. But Mars is coming in here where this can create a little bit of an ego problem of wanting to rush in to make things happen, to get your own way. And so you want to be careful about all of your actions and decisions. This is controlling your entire life here in your first house of self. So you can expect some dramatic changes for many of you occurring in your life at this time. Saturn is in that 11th house where it's asking you to be careful about any of your long-term decisions. You want to think everything through, come up with a plan, a strategy before just jumping ahead to any kind of long-term decisions that you are planning to take. You also want to be very careful about the people that you're relating to, that you're not getting drawn into the wrong crowd at this time. This Saturn retrograde is asking you to actually take your time and to look at your friendships, look at your groups, look at the connections that you're making. and to make sure that all of this is in accordance with your path. We have Mars Rahu that is going to aspect over to Venus Sun in your fourth house, where you're looking for peace, you're looking for comfort, you're looking for relaxation, you're looking for happiness. But don't jump to any quick decisions. Many of you can find yourselves looking for a quick fix to find that happiness, but this is time to actually take your time and think about what's going to make you happy long term before any kind of quick and hasty decisions. Those of you with a Taurus moon or Taurus ascendant, so this will be a Rahu-Mars conjunction taking place back in your 12th house. And Mars is a very challenging planet for many of you, as this is controlling over your 7th and 12th house. This is a big time of deep contemplation, of taking your time, thinking things through, not making hasty decisions, especially as that 12th house has to do with escapism, with indulgence. And so you want to be careful about making any risky decisions as far as finance, as far as your enjoyment, wanting to take things slow and really think about your decisions as you're moving forward here. For those of you with a Gemini moon, Gemini ascendant, this will be Mars Rahu occurring in your 11th house. This is going to increase your desires, looking to acquire more, looking to approach your big dreams and hopes, your big plans for the future. But remember with this Rahu energy that this is very illusionary, where you want to be careful and cautious about how you're moving to approach the things that you desire. You want to make sure that you are making the right decisions and not taking the wrong actions, not taking any sort of shortcuts or immoral actions to get towards this path. For those of you with a Cancer moon, Cancer ascendant, this will be a Mars Rahu conjunction occurring in your 10th house. And so this is definitely a big time for career. This is a big time where you're looking for growth, for opportunities with this energy here. You want to be careful about any sort of speculation that you're doing, making sure that you are looking over all of the details, that you're not making any sort of hasty decisions as far as the growth and what you're building with this energy. For those of you with a Leo moon or Leo ascendant, this will be Mars in a conjunction with Rahu in your 9th house. And so this can definitely be a time where you're wanting to escape the hardships of life, wanting to travel, wanting to explore, not really wanting to be where you are anymore. This could be a time where you're thinking of moving, of changing your residency, or it could be a time where you're simply focused heavily on foreign matters, on things that are outside of the norms of your comfort zone, wanting to explore, wanting to escape, wanting to find some sort of deeper meaning. So this is an excellent time to explore and to learn, but you want to be careful in the area of travel. This can create some sudden disruptions in your travel. For those of you with a Virgo moon or Virgo ascendant, this will be a Mars Rahu conjunction occurring in your 8th house. Very intense placement. This 8th house is already the house of sudden ups and downs. And we have this Mars, which is very intense, very fiery, very quick. And we have this Rahu energy that creates dramatic ups and downs as well. So this is definitely a time to be very cautious. Be cautious of your health, of how you're eating, how you're taking care of yourself. Be cautious of getting into any sort of accidents. You want to slow down and to take the time to process everything before jumping on any decisions. You want to be careful about financial decisions as well, as this 8th house has everything to do with shared resources and is aspecting over to that 2nd house of your personal resources as well. So this is a time to really think things through before jumping into anything quickly. For those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant, this will be Mars Rahu conjunction occurring in your 7th house. Be very cautious about the people that you're interacting with, who you're allowing into your space. Make sure you are setting the proper boundaries at this time. There can be a lot of illusions around who you are bringing into your life, and you can find some disastrous situations in your relationships that can cause a lot of pain and difficulty. So you want to make sure that you are paying attention to who everyone is coming into your life, making sure that you're taking the time to get to know them, to understand who they are before quickly jumping into any sort of relationship situations. This includes any kind of contracts, business partners, friendships, romantic partners, any kind of relating or binding that you're doing with others. You want to look over the details, make sure that you understand everything before quickly making decisions. For those of you with a Scorpio moon, Scorpio ascendant, this will be Mars conjunct Rahu in your 6th house. And so this is definitely a time where you want to watch your health, watch what you're eating, watch how you're taking care of yourself. Be very careful of any sort of accidents or situations that can land you into legal difficulties. This 6th house has everything to do with enemies, conflicts, diseases. So you want to take care of your health and to think everything through. Look over the details. Make sure that you have everything in order before coming to any sort of hasty decisions. This is especially true because Mars is your ruler and it's coming to this conjunction with Rahu. So you're not seeing clearly as far as your actions and how you're approaching things within your daily life. You want to take that time to make sure that you understand the truth and the details clearly behind everything before making decisions. For those of you with a Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius ascendant, this will be Mars in a conjunction with Rahu in your 5th house. Be very careful of gambling, speculation, of drinking, partying, any sort of leisure activities that you're getting involved in, any sort of speculation that you're doing. Be very careful that you are paying attention and that you're not getting yourself into situations that could land you into trouble. Remember that this Rahu is going to aspect over to your 9th house along with your 11th house and 12th house. So this could land you into some difficulties of loss where you have situations that are causing you to lose what you have gained. This is very dangerous. We have Mars that is aspecting over to your 8th house as well, where it's going to meet up with that Sun and Venus energy in there. So you want to be careful about any kind of quick decisions, any sort of skirting around laws or finding loopholes. You want to do everything morally and you want to make sure that you're taking very good care of your health and your well-being at this time. For those of you with a Capricorn moon, Capricorn ascendant, this will be Mars Rahu conjunction in your 4th house. This can make you very restless, wanting to leave home, wanting to explore, to have fun, to get out of a situation. There's a little bit of an escapism that's happening here with this transit. Remember, K2 is on the other end of that in your 10th house, where many of you are finding dissatisfaction or wanting to change your work situation. Don't make any kind of quick decisions in this area. Stay steady and disciplined with your work at this time. This huge Saturn retrograde that is in front of you in that 2nd house is trying to support you. So this is a time of patience, of discipline, of paying close attention to all of your actions. You want to be careful about any sort of legal decisions, any sort of partnerships that you're doing with this Rahu Mars that's going to aspect over to Venus Sun in your 7th house. So be careful about who you're relating to what you're agreeing to at this time. For those of you with Aquarius moon, Aquarius ascendant, this will be Rahu Mars in your 3rd house. And so you want to be careful about rushing into things. Remember that this 3rd house has to do with your courage, your ability to take the initiative. And Rahu is creating illusion and it is getting instigated by this Martian influence. So you want to be careful about rushing into things, about making quick decisions. Vet out all the details, all the information before doing anything. We have Rahu Mars is going to aspect over to Venus Sun in your 6th house. So remember that this can land you into some difficulties relating legal issues and disputes with others. So you want to be careful about all of your actions. We have the Saturn retrograde behind it that is sitting there in your 1st house, asking you to be patient, to take your time, to do things in the right way. For those of you with a Pisces moon, Pisces ascendant, this will be Mars Rahu in your 2nd house. Be very careful about spending, about making quick decisions, in spending and splurging and luxury. Be very careful about your eating habits with this Mars Rahu. This can get you into trouble in this area with digestion, with health. All of this is being impacted through this transit. We have Saturn Rahu that's sitting behind it in this 12th house, which is asking you to take your time to relax, to find some disciplined ways to calm yourself down instead of looking for escapism at this time. This can land you into some difficulties. This Mars Rahu is going to aspect over to Venus Sun in that 5th house, instigating any kind of partying, gambling, any kind of leisurely activities. You want to be careful about all of this at this time. This is an excellent time with Saturn retrograde in that 12th house for you to meditate, to take some time to yourself for deep contemplation.